I think it's an accident because when I went to a fashion show, I was walking and then they said, oh, there is a television show that Josephine Fong, she's very famous, Xiu Fong Fong, she's the star, and then she found out she's pregnant, and so she can't do it on Saturday, and then it's a few days and they call me. And then at that time my father knew the head of TVB, and he also knows I came back from England from dancing in the Royal Ballet. So it's like everyone looked for me. Like Thursday, I had to do a live television performance on Saturday for a Miss Hong Kong pageant. I was the entertainment section. So in the end, it was overnight. Everybody said, oh, who is this girl? Sing, dance, and act. And so all the contracts came. And 20 movie contracts came in just over a weekend. It was a very impressive at that time for me because the director, Qin Xiaodong, he's the most amazing visual director I have ever met. I made many at that time, but I felt like he is got a sense of what everything looked like when he directed how it's like a dancer. I was brought up a dancer. If I turn my face too much, it doesn't look good. If I look just here, it looks good. So his angles of fighting, the movements, was just right. It was like dancing. And to me, it was like, I fell in love with doing martial arts from this movie. I like it because I came from a very disciplined background. I had to do exactly what they say, and I have to do, my mind has to go, I can't forget about these steps. I have to be on point, and I have to do all the turns, and it's a ballet that is no mistakes. But yet you have to look very, very light, and as if it's like lying on the couch, you know, like very fairy-like. So I was used to being heavily disciplined, and I appreciate his ideas, creativity, and his will. I like that. If I didn't do ballet and know how to move my body well and be lifted by one hand by a man and feeling all that, because it's all mental, body, soul, and coordination at the same time. If you weren't trained that way, a lot of actors and actresses, it's hard. You can only say and move. You can't say, move, act, turning upside down, you know. So it was not only good that I had dancing training, it's so addictive. I fell in love with it at that time. And then I was riding horses, I was fighting, I was learning sword, and I learned sword dancing, and it's just so engaging. I fell in love with it. I wanted to do more at that time. Fighting, more period pieces. I didn't like doing modern pieces anymore after that. I think at that time, what the movie gave to me was my first true respect for Hong Kong made period piece that is done with such simplicity. The art direction, the fighting direction, the clearance of the story, and the principle, the value of it. And the cinematography was beautiful. So to me, it was one of my favorite movies that I've ever made. It was very difficult because there were so many men. The whole movie were men, and I was supposed to be a guy too. Somehow, I feel the male energy, especially at that time in Hong Kong, was their ability to do martial art movies is great. And we went to Korea, and to me, I learned how to be stronger during this experience, I can say, because I never spent so much time with 100 men every day. And somehow I appreciate how they work. They're very busting, they're very clear. They don't mess around, and they have some kind of clearance. Women, we think too much, or we talk too much, or we say what you don't mean, or we act what we don't want to show. You know, sometimes we have a little hidden problems. But men, they're very clear, they're straightforward. To me, this movie gave me much more confidence to be like tough, clear when it's necessary, because I had to stand up to them all the time because they would bully me. Choi Siu-kyung is very handsome, very tall, very cool. And it was very funny because he was in Taiwan. We were in Taiwan in one of the rooms, I think. And he was having a fight with somebody, and everyone's chasing him everywhere, and everyone had to close the door. They were so scared. Because he is really a very tough, cool guy. He really fights, you know. And Lau Chong-yan, he is a softie. They are really like that in the movie. One is a tough, willful person, but they're both very funny. And they looked after me because I used to, if I didn't like something, I used to cry all the time. And then they gave me a room with no windows, and I would go up to the lobby and cry. And they kept on saying, I wasn't very professional at that time, because so many men, I felt the only way I can speak up, because if I scream, they won't listen. They would speak so much louder. I would go to the canteen where they're having a meal, I would just cry, and then they would all listen, and they would like, oh, don't cry. So anyway, that's how I got my way. Because I never told anyone this. I mean, very few people know, but I signed over 20 movies in 1 week, and then they made me do 10 movies in 1 year. I did not like it, so I stopped. But when I stopped, people say, well, you gotta pay us back. And then I had all these lawsuits. And then I had to declare I would never touch movies again, so they won't sue me. I think that never happened, because I think people want to do movies, but I couldn't take it, doing 10 movies in 1 year. In the end, I feel I still like it. I still like production. I still like to coordinate. So I would like to, I'm living in LA now. I like to create, maybe produce, co-produce, do the sets and fashion clothing design out of China, and to do the East and West co-productions. And I plan to, older that I get, I like to go back to where I came from, is from an institutional academy. I want to do an international performing arts in Los Angeles with Chinese martial arts, the proper way, not just, oh, learn something quick, just visually. I want to teach the people there. So lots of things to do.